So later on, when I've been playing football, I'm all sweaty and covered in. Oh, we're recording. I'll go on, crack on.
Hello and welcome to the Reds Report at Barnsley FC's longest-running podcast. Proud to be part of the TalkSport Fans Network. Special reaction show. News today: Neil Collins has left Oakwell. The board felt after a downhill performances that a change was needed with one game to go until the end of the season. This game, of course, will be boom or bust. A win will guarantee Barnsley will take part in the playoffs. A loss means it's another season in League One. To look and get reaction on the news and what next. The Avengers have reassembled yet again. The funny one, the one that is comedy gold. And
Ian.
the one,
Hey, Ian, you all right, mate?
the one that most of you rave about. Ian, welcome to the Red Report. How are we doing, mate?
Hey.
All right.
Very well.
And of course, Steve, he is the funny one, the original, the GOAT, as we call him. He's here as well. Boys, news came through. I was at work, so I saw your message a little bit late. It was about 3:20 or something like that. Ian, might as well go to you first. Initial reaction, and the board have clearly listened and feel it's time for a change. Talk about the timing of that with one game to go.
Surprised with the timing, very surprised. I think we discussed it the other week, didn't we? That we thought he'd still be in charge probably next season. But I do feel that the board have realised, like we discussed last night with Adam, that we are basically a rudderless ship that's aiming for 7th, and if they don't do something quickly, we'll balls it up on Saturday, and the place is toxic enough. And I think they've decided, well, at least if they do something, whether they know more than we do with the dressing room, that they've given themselves a great chance now for Saturday. I think the crowd will be completely different. I think it was always going to be verging on really toxic on Saturday with Collins there. If other teams would have scored first, or we'd be struggling. You take that away now because he's not there on the sidelines to get the abuse. So I think fans will probably more encourage the side. So I think they've seen it's an opportunity to maybe get us, perk us up that last game and get into playoffs. And the run is, as any manager would expect, to probably the axe to fall, wouldn't you, with that in the last 11 games. So surprised by the timing, but not surprised as well, really. I think they've realised this we could have ballsed it up on Saturday, or Collins could have done.
It is a typical Barnsley thing to do. Steve, no manager has had 2 seasons in charge since Simon Davey. He left in 2009. It's quite a while ago. What does Martin Devaney, because ultimately it's 11 players on the pitch when that whistle goes. So what can Martin Devaney do between now and Saturday to put the same team out, but that will play hopefully a little bit different than what we're used to?
I'll slightly change that question round, and I shall say, what's Devaney done over the last 2 or 3 seasons when he's been in dugout with the whatever respective manager it is? Now, I'm not saying he'll not get anything out of him on Saturday, but I'm also, I'll not say excited that Devaney's taking charge, because he's been there for, like I said, for quite a while. And I think we've mentioned it a couple of times on the show previously, what's happened to that bridge between manager and players that Devaney was supposed to be. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I'd like to think that they'll be motivated to a certain extent. However, like I say, he's been there for the last God knows what. So is he going to motivate him enough? Is my only question.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a bit cynical there, really, weren't I?
No.
Terribly sorry.
Fair point.
It's a fair point. Do you think, stay with you then, Steve, do you think he'll make changes to the 11? Because I know there's been a lot of, and we've talked about it endlessly, because from a fan, we don't see what happens in training. We only see those 90 minutes home or away. And at times we felt that maybe people have played, not in the wrong decision, but not their preferred decision. Do you think, and this is pure guess, do you think he'll change maybe formation or swap people about? Because obviously if Connell's not back, then who goes in there? Are you having a back 3? Is Williams part of that? Do you bring McCart? What do you think? Or what would be your hope?
What do I hope? Yeah, I'd like to think that he will change formation and just play just play a basic 4-4-2. To be quite honest, I think we've definitely struggled at times with wing backs due to probably the fact that his wing backs aren't particularly good. Williams has still got to go on. Williams has still got to go on right hand side. That's why I would say go back to a back four. I don't want McCart anywhere near team. Dejivny and Earl, and then probably Cadden on left hand side. But I would say he's having a bit of a bad couple of games. However, they're all having a bad couple of games. What I don't want to see is sort of an old boys network, as in Devaney's picking his mates. I'd like to think he's going to pick on merit and who actually shows this week that they want to play on Saturday and they want to win on Saturday. And if that means certain players don't play that are normal first teamers, and he brings a couple of youth in, because let's face it, he's always been in and around our youth players as well, so he'll know who's up for it and who can do a job. Maybe he'll bring a couple. Maybe Chapman will make a start. Who knows? I just want him to pick 11 players that want to be proud wearing that shirt on Saturday.
Precarious position, isn't it, Ian, for Devaney? Because it's one match, and a lot depends on this match. So through his mind, if there were 3 or 4 matches left, you could maybe give, not a debut but a start to one of the youngsters. But it is literally 90 minutes boom or bust, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think I agree with Steve that your team talk during the week is clean slate. Whoever does the grafting training and shows me they want a shirt, I'll give you a shirt for Saturday. That could be the carrot for a lot of them. There must have been fallouts, stroke clicks. There always is in a dressing room, and maybe he knows who he can't trust to give a shirt and who he can trust. And as long as it's not like Steve says, the old boys network, but you just got to the old cliche, innit? Take one game at a time. It's concentrate on Saturday and just win that game. It's a winnable game. So just and I think his job will be to take the squad away from the noise, from what's going to surround. Because it's interesting that the statement from the club is that they'll update supporters in a couple of days, which is interesting to see. Have they already got the minds made up, already got somebody in? Be interesting, that.
Do we realistically think that this one game will make a difference, though? Like,
difference to what?
Well, the outcome of this match, because ultimately we've been in the playoff position since early October, first week of October, never been out of it, still in it now. Okay, because of those results and poor performances, it's now a must-win game. If we go through to the playoffs, has it still been a hugely disappointed season? Or how do you then look back on it? And if we don't make the playoffs, how do you look back on the season?
It's not. I don't think it's been a hugely disappointing season. It's been disappointing, not hugely disappointing. It's been disappointing just because of the standard of football we've watched. I mean, you could look at it from other side and say, well, we've been in 5th for months. We're in playoffs. We've still got a chance at playoffs. So it's actually been a successful season. You can make it look however you want. What it's going to boil down to, unfortunately, is one game. And Devaney's, if we win and go into playoffs, and by God, we win playoffs and go up, Devaney's not going to get a job. Let's not kid ourselves, because he's not. Whether it's cheap option or not, he's still working with same players that Collins had. The only difference will be is if he can get them mentally in right place.
And I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? Do you think, was this a loss of faith between the players and the head coach? Because ultimately these players give some decent performances away from home. Is it a case of he needs to get into the minds and unlock the potential that undoubtedly they all have? I know we've talked about him, but Devante Goal can score goals because the stat says that he can. Herbie Kane should be one of the best midfielders in the league. We've seen flashes and little bits, but is it is it purely like a man management where it went wrong? Then do you think, Ian, or are there other factors at play?
No, I think it is man management. We discussed off air, didn't we? That you look at, you take a snapshot of the last few managers we've had, and I'd put Collins up there with Shop and Asbaghi. They were both dull off the pitch, and their teams mirrored their personalities, and we saw poor football. And I think we got that with Collins. And yet some of the, obviously a manager's got to be tactically aware. He's got to be a good manager, full stop. But you need somebody who brings that cohesion together with the players, that the players buy into the manager, that the fans then buy into the team. And like Steve said, on many occasions, you can have flag days, you can have banner days, you can have fanfares, but when ref blows a whistle, when the team start playing for that shirt, the fans then respond. And I just don't think with Collins we've ever had that. Other managers we've had recently, they used to enjoy the pre-match and post-match comments. They were engaging, they stirred you. Collins hasn't been like that. And I just think the team have probably switched off like the fans have switched off from him.
Listen, we can spend hours talking, but Steve's going to play five-a-side soon. So I'm going to give you both an opportunity to put forward your preferred candidate. There's lots of people out of jobs right now. People tend to look at previous managers to see, can they bring those good old times back? You're talking about Ismail Stendhal, Duff, all those. I've done a couple of interviews today. I know, Ian, you're talking to somebody on later on in the week. Phil Hall's just been in. He's done interviews with BBC Lincolnshire. I was asked
I might
for
talk to our lass later on if that makes any difference. Will do.
I'll be honest.
Wants to talk to me, do they? Unbelievable.
That's because you're the funny one.
You've got your own bloody fan club on Twitter, you anyway.
Yeah, exactly. He's got this YouTube gang. It's all about personal opinion. I think affordable, or probably affordable, and I think could do a job. And for me, that's Paul Heckingbottom, who lives local, knows the club. I know at Sheffield United in Premier League, obviously things didn't go as planned.
And he's catching bus at minute as well, isn't he? So it's Oakwell's nice and easy for him to get to.
He's a local lad. People say, but he went to Leeds. Look into it, though. At that time, we had no CEO. I remember going to the press conferences, and he looked absolutely knackered. He was doing every job under the sun because there was nobody else in the building. Very difficult time for the club because the CEO had left. Paul Heckingbottom, to me, I think we played a decent style under him. Go back to 4-4-2. But you can bring Mourinho in. You can bring Pep Guardiola in. The board needs to take some ownership. And if you go up, we need championship-ready players. And if we stay in League One, we need League One-ready players or even proven League One players. Because whoever you bring in, ultimately, it's the board that should back. So my vote goes to Paul Heckingbottom. You can attack me if you want, but I think he could possibly be cut out for this job. Steve, who are you putting forward and why?
Maybe they have got somebody in mind for last match at season. Who knows?
On the way back from America.
Yeah, more than likely. I don't think they'll set anybody on while close season, to be quite honest. I mean, all right, you can go on Twitter and people are talking about Heckingbottom, they're talking about Duff coming back. Warnock's head is always mentioned. And for a one-off game, yeah, why not? Get Warnock, let him try and... Because if he can't, let's face it, if Warnock can't motivate him, you want to get rid of all lot and start again. Yeah. Going into season... For next season, like you said, whoever comes in, board's got to back. Whichever league we're in, they're going to have to spend some money, and they've got to realise that. So does that mean then that they'll go for a cheap option in a manager? As for who would I want in, Heckingbottom's a good shout. No, I'm not bothered about Duff because let's be honest, sometimes you say things that you can't come back from. Look at Kane, really. Duff said, I'm not going anywhere, and he's gone. So why would you want him back? I don't know. There's quite a few managers out there, English managers. But again, it's going to come down to money. And if we are not prepared to pay a decent wage for a decent first division manager, you're going to end up with Carlo Valderrama or whoever from Peru or something like that, aren't you? Because that's just way board works.
And
for me, for the last couple of games, yeah, why not? Put Warnock, Geet Warnock, let him try and motivate what we've got for 1, 3 or 4 games. What have we? Let's be honest. What have we got to lose? Absolutely nothing.
No. And it's interesting before we go to Ian that actually the board needs to see if they've learned from their mistakes, don't they? Because there's a reason. I know some of them have left because they were successful, but we've also had Shop, as Baggy, and now Collins in the last 5 years or so that have been sacked. So, hopefully the board have learned as well. Ian, who are you? Who would you like to see coming in? And I know we all want Pep Guardiola. He's unavailable. I've tried ringing him. I keep getting voice, but realistically,
he couldn't cope with all the games we have to play with.
I've spoken to him, by the way, just so you know. He's on my YouTube channel, so he's quite happy with things. He's happy where he is at City.
Yeah, he's currently with Jackie in the kitchen.
Yeah, he's downstairs. Getting dinner ready. Having some pasta.
Paella.
Paella. Yeah.
That's what he think they're doing.
No, I'm saying no, mate. He can if he wants. I don't care.
Go on, Ian. Who would your vote go to?
I looked at managers who are out of work, and you look at even the likes of Mark Hughes and Wayne Rooney and people like that. And Rooney did say he'd even take a League Two club on. But I think the problem.
Wow! Wow! Wayne Rooney, really?
No, he's not. No, he's not my. He's not my. What I'm saying is, there's a lot of managers out there that you could go for. I'm not advocating him at all. But there is a lot of managers out there. I mean, Hughes has been around. I'm not advocating Hughes, but I just don't think we've got the money to go and get a Carl Robinson from Salford or a Graham Alexander or somebody who's done these leagues before and knows how to get out of them. So then you get worried about who they're going to get. I'd like to see Henke take over. I'd like to see Warnock in the short term. I want somebody of the ilk that we've had who resonates with the team and the fans that we've had, and I know it was only brief with Duff as an example and brief with Stendhal as an example and Ismail, but there are the examples that those managers, that the team, at least the team, on some occasions play some nice football, but also really connected and really wanted to play for that shirt. And I just hope we don't go looking in America, in the second division of America again, or somewhere that this is their first big job. I want somebody who knows how to do a rebuild, because it's going to be a rebuild, whatever league we're in next season. Even if we're in League One, it's going to half the squad's going, and somebody's got that experience to rebuild. But goodness knows, there's that many out there that are still without a job. Lose your money on it.
For me, I think we need somebody with a personality.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Somebody
who can put that personality into the team that we can all buy into. There's far too many grey managers about that sort of don't get involved as much. Like Collins, you want somebody like a Stendhal, that sort of thing. Yeah. And I'm not saying I'm taking him out for a curry on a Saturday night or stuff like that, or he's going to meet me in Boozer for a drink, or he can go over tap, which is a very, very nice local hostelry. I just thought I'd mention that. But you want somebody who's going to enthuse with fans. We've said it for the last few years. We either want a manager who has got that really outgoing personality, or you want a really nice not big signing, but a really good signing that's going to get bums on seats. Because don't forget that early bird season ticket, there's only a couple of days left. Excellent timing, though, isn't it? Don't you think?
It's interesting. I agree with you both. I think what we need to see is some passion back on the pitch and off the pitch. Because if we don't have that, not even Harry Potter could get us out of the conundrum that we're in right now. It's
you've been working on that all day.
Unbelievable! Oh my days!
So it's Martin Devaney at the helm. Personally, if we get through, I've got this feeling that it might not be Martin Devaney that manages us if we go through into the playoffs, but that's just a personal thing. I wonder if the board have acted different and I got somebody lined up to take over to try and turn that ship around into the right direction. But we have to wait. We want passion. We want passion on the pitch and off the pitch. So if you're going on Saturday,
Yes, yes.
and get behind them.
Lots of passion we want. And beer.
In 0.6 seconds. In 0.6 seconds.
Is that your team?
Beer or passion that? That were Ian. Other than now talking to their missus. That were Ian. Yeah. That were a good performance, that, mate. Well done.
That was 0.6. And there was another personal best besides the cycling the day after.
She was sat on edge of bed holding numbers up on cards, apparently. But anyway, let's not talk about that.
You've been listening to the Reds Report reaction show on the news that Neil Collins has left Oakwell. Get behind Disco Devaney, get behind the team, and let's see where we can end up. That's either back in League One or playoffs. Who knows? We're back next week. Thanks for listening.